All right. Good morning to everyone, and welcome to this webinar on measures to support early stage migrant entrepreneurs, which is the first webinar within the framework of the program MEGA, the Migrant Entrepreneurship Growth Agenda. My name is Aldo Gianni, and I'm the project manager of Migration Policy Group, which is a think and do tank based in Brussels, active in the field of migration, integration, and anti-discrimination, and which is also the lead partner of this European consortium that is currently running the program MEGA. Today, we would like to provide to all the attendees this transnational webinar. It's addressed specifically to practitioners in the field of migrant entrepreneurship, and our aim is to showcase some good practices across Europe and promote potential replicability of these practices. This webinar will also be followed in autumn around October and November by national webinars in German, Italian, French, and Spanish. We do invite you to also attend these webinars. It will still be on measures to support early stage entrepreneurs, and we'll provide more, let's say, national practices in national language. All these webinars will also be announced on our website, so I definitely invite you to follow. With regards to today's webinar, we plan to run this online event in indicatively 1 hour. The agenda will be structured as follows. So after this introduction, I will give the floor to my colleagues. Firstly to Alexander Wolfart, and afterwards to Giacomo Solano. The first will give you a general overview of the program MEGA, and the second will rather focus on the handbook that the consortium just released a couple of weeks ago. Then we'll move to best practices. We collected 3 best practices across Europe. We'll have Ellen from the Compass organization from Frankfurt, Germany, showcasing her work. Then we move to Sweden. We'll have the Nufore Tagar Centrum, and Harry Goldman and Tara Paulson are here with us. And finally, we'll move to Portugal to get to know a little bit more about the work of the High Commission for Migration, and Barbara Duque is here with us. I also invite the attendees to share questions, comments with us. You have this possibility by using the tool. There is a questions section, so feel free to share that with us. I will personally check this, and in the last 10-15 minutes, we'll try to collect the most relevant questions and try to answer as many as possible. This is all from my side. I would like now to give the floor to my colleagues, to Alexander. Firstly, I see that you are already online, so I leave the floor to you, Alexander. There is the microphone to turn on firstly, so that everyone can. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, it seems to work now.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for that. Again, thank you for the introduction. Let me briefly introduce the MEGA project, who we are, how we work together, and what we want to achieve. First of all, MEGA is a transnational project implemented in 4 major EU countries. in France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. It is bringing together a very diverse partnership with actors of very different types. We have city authorities like the city of Munich. We have an organization in the project related to the Chamber of Commerce in Milan. We have non-profit platforms dedicated to migrant entrepreneurship support in Paris and in Hamburg. And we work together with development agencies in Spain, and the action is coordinated by the Migration Policy Group. What is unique about MEGA is that it is a true multi-level project with activities at the local regional levels, the national level and the EU level. These activities are interconnected and reinforce each other. At the regional and local level, our focus is on improving concrete measures that are already in place, but also to develop new activities, new policies connected to mutual learning and common work. On the national level, our focus is more on agenda setting for more comprehensive countrywide support policies. And also at the EU level, our focus is on agenda setting for a more inclusive entrepreneurship support agenda in the EU, reinforced by EU policies and programs. Let's have a look on what mega partners do on the local level. Each city or partner region underwent a benchmarking exercise to see at the beginning of our project the state of development, to identify gaps and needs. So partners assessed with the help from MPG the support policies and structures already in place. And then we made our sort of recommendations for way forward. This benchmarking stage has been followed by a mutual learning phase where our partners exchanged on good practices and experiences, and now they are working together in the development of local actions plan. So the objective of the project is that in each of the partner cities and regions, a set of new activities and measures will be put in place until the end of the project. How do we get there? MEGA has created working groups around 4 topics. The benchmarking has identified areas where some partners are particularly strong or are very keen to achieve results. And these partners now are leading in these areas and inspire the action planning in the other partner countries. So the first topic is city leadership. How can municipalities become a key actor in initiating migrant entrepreneurship support policies, how to mobilize local actors, how to make sure that there are sufficient resources. The second topic we have identified and around which we are working is outreach and empowerment of migrant communities, how to raise awareness of the existing support structures, how to encourage potential entrepreneurs to start a business. The third topic that we have is furthering a proactive role of chambers of commerce. So how can chambers develop a more proactive and inclusive role in this area? The fourth topic is socially responsible procurement, how to use public and private procurement for migrant entrepreneurship support, diversity clauses, awareness raising, etc. Also part of our mega activities on the local level are the handbooks and the webinars, the first of which we present today. Aldo already mentioned that this webinar today will be followed by specific webinars in the languages of the 4 partner countries. The next 2 handbooks will be on communication and outreach. First, to newly arrived migrant communities, how to reach out to potential entrepreneurs. And the third handbook will be about access to finance. As you will see later on, each of these handbooks introduces the most important challenges in these topics and then provides an overview of good practices all across Europe. Beyond the partner cities and regions, MEGA's aim is for countrywide agenda setting. So in their countries, the partners initiated so-called national coalitions. These are to promote exchange and experiences within the countries, to create new sustainable networks, to advocate for improved support policies in the countries. And this again goes together with an assessment of needs and gaps that will inform recommendations for a future national agenda. The kick-off of the national coalition building have been national fairs in 2018. These were events that brought together existing initiatives, actors already implementing support policies, to discuss the state of play in the 4 countries and take stock. The third pillar of MEGA are our activities on the EU level. These are aimed at EU-wide improvements. The goal is to link the emergent national networks in the partner countries with actors across Europe and to advocate together for a comprehensive approach to a more inclusive EU business support agenda. And together this European coalition, and to allow everyone and every organization that is committed to this goal to join this agenda of better support, we have launched the MEGA initiative, which is an 11-point agenda comprising key actions and policies needed, from legal and practical advice to language and cultural sensitivity, to providing support, individual business plans, targeted training, or access to finances, the whole range of activities. And we would all everyone listening in this webinar invite to have a look on this agenda and encourage you to sign up. So in a nutshell, this is the MEGA project, and now you will hear more about support for early stage migrant businesses.
Thank you very much, Alexander. I also take this opportunity to invite everyone who is currently listening and ones that will access this webinar afterwards to really look into the agenda, because we do believe that it's very important to keep the momentum around this agenda. I will give now the floor to my colleague Giacomo Solano, who has been leading the drafting of the handbook. So Giacomo, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Aldo. Welcome, everybody. So in the next 10-15 minutes, I'm going to talk about this first handbook that we have produced, that it's mainly on early stage migrant entrepreneurs and measures to support them. Before starting to go into details, I want to stress why it's we consider really important to support migrant entrepreneurs. First of all, we know literature shows that self-employment is a way towards empowerment for migrants to tackle unemployment and underemployment, skill mismatch. And it's also a way toward integration, more social integration. Second, migrant entrepreneurship has also a positive impact on the economy in general, in the number of firms, in the number of in the employment creation, also in, for example, import export, and in the value of trade more in general, and sales. Also, OECD figures show that a relevant number of migrants is starting a business, but literature shows also that they face several difficulties, and that migrant-owned businesses are more likely to fail or to be in really low profitable sectors in comparison than natives. So there are several factors or several reasons for these issues. The first one is that migrant entrepreneurs have difficulties in accessing credit, so the lack of the financial means to start a proper business. Then they have also difficulties in dealing with the bureaucracy, and this is combined with the lack of familiarity with the business environment. So sometimes they are not familiar with the business environment of the country of destination, and they have the difficulties in dealing with the bureaucracy and so on, also due to language difficulties. And also they have a limited personal and business network on which rely. So starting from this, we decided first of all to present this handbook, which summarizes the main kinds of support that can be provided to migrant entrepreneurs, and which display also the factor for success of these support measures. We also showcase a number of good practices that will be hopefully useful for practitioners across Europe. The focus is mainly on early stage migrant entrepreneurs, but actually all the presented measures can be also applied to migrant entrepreneurs in general. So as for the handbook, we start with the desk research done by me and my colleagues, with the support also of project partners. By the means of this desk research, we create a database of approximately 100 measures, and we decide to showcase 30 good practices in the handbook as examples and concrete examples. In doing that, we also built on the work of the European Commission of this handbook of 2016 and of the work of other projects. So in the handbook, we present different kind of measure. The first distinction that can be made concerning measures to support migrant entrepreneurs is between measures that are part of more mainstream programs. So programs that they focus not only on migrant entrepreneurs, but for example, on the entire population of entrepreneurs in a place, or on vulnerable entrepreneurs in general. So mainstream or more targeted support measures that focus on one target group, like migrant entrepreneurs, or even women migrant entrepreneurs, or other subgroup in the category. Then we also distinguish, starting from the European Commission work, we also distinguish between 3 different sets of support measures. The first one is business-related, is support to foster migrants' business-related skills and competencies. Here you can have business training, so more general business training, legal advice, and more individual support like mentoring and coaching. Then another important set of support is on non-business related skills that are really important for migrant entrepreneurs. First one is networking skills. So migrants entrepreneurs should be supported also in their networking attitudes and behaviors to let them establishing a new form of cooperation with other migrant and non-migrant entrepreneurs and actors. And also transversal skills should be promoted, like language skills, communication, and of course intercultural skills. We know that most of the time when you do business, it's important to have a knowledge of what you can do and what you cannot do in a cultural environment, and this is very important as well. Then finally, the third set relates to tangible resources to provide migrant entrepreneurs with access to finance, or also with a workplace, like in the case of some incubators, or some premises for free, or let's say cheap premises. Then after, so the handbook, in the handbook, after presenting this different set of support measure, we also display what we found in the literature and and through our analysis of the measures, and we find, let's say, 3 different factors of success. The first one is having a comprehensive approach. The second one is having the staff of the business providers and all the support providers, intercultural and business competencies, and then ensure sustainability and replicability over time for this measure. So starting from comprehensive approach, it's important to combine different kinds of support measure, let's say all the different sets of support measure. First of all, we advise, and also literature says that it's important to combine to support the acquisition of new skills, business and non-business related skills, with also more tangible support. One mistake that is often made is to focus only on tangible support, so providing entrepreneurs with financial support. But then this doesn't mean that the business would be successful, because as we know, migrant entrepreneurs often lack of some skills. And so supporting also these skills is important to ensure an effective support. Then a more theoretical and then 2 different kinds of training should be combined, more theoretical but also more hands-on, more practical way of training, like some simulation or so on. And then we also know that migrant entrepreneurs are not an homogeneous group, so we advise support providers to provide support for group support, but also more one-to-one and tailor-made support for entrepreneurs. So after me, there will be 3 presentations, which are really 3 important and interesting case of a comprehensive approach. Then also we advocate, let's say, for training the staff about intercultural and business competencies. So the staff should have proper language or appropriate language skills, a certain degree of cultural sensitivity, and of course should be knowledgeable about the business. So the information and the services should be provided in many languages. As I said, the staff should be knowledgeable about both migrants' culture and how to run a business. We found many examples of measures doing that in a really wonderful way, and in different ways also. Like, for example, in France, the NGO Asmoon employed staff with a migrant background. In Italy, the CNA Ward use translators and linguistic mediators to facilitate communication between migrant entrepreneurs and the staff. And Ruta Sese in Spain create some printed and online materials in different languages. So third, we found also that one big issue is to ensure sustainability or replicability over time, because to do that, it needs to be a long-term committed with the necessary resources, and also an understanding of how to use these resources in a cost-efficient way. Again, there are many examples, many great examples in Europe, and also different ways to do that. First, for example, Barcelona Activa in Spain and also the Vienna Business Agency decide to mainstream the target support initiative to provide a more long-term support for migrant entrepreneurs in the frame of their mainstream programs. CNA World in Italy create a network of support providers over time. So, for example, each local office creates a local network to support migrant entrepreneurs, and this proved to be very effective. And finally, again, Ruta Sese created a website. So here you can see also the use of ICT technology to leave something that is after the end of the project. And this website provides support and information to migrants, and it can be accessed in different languages. So to conclude, we want again to stress the importance of promoting migrant entrepreneurship as a means of empowering migrants, but also for the benefit of the entire society in terms of employment, trade, etc. However, we also want to underline that to be a real alternative form of decent employment for migrants, migrant entrepreneurship needs to be adequately supported. Otherwise, migrants would fail or would go in really low profitable sectors and markets. Therefore, to do that, to adequately support migrant entrepreneurs, we advocate for a comprehensive approach that combines different kinds of support measures with a long-term strategy to ensure sustainability and replicability over time. And then last but not least, staff should have the right skills to support migrant entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Giacomo, for this presentation, and I invite all those present in this webinar to also refer to the handbook, which is actually on our website, so you can directly address that. I would like to give now the floor to Ellen from Frankfurt, and Compass is one of the practices that were showcased by the handbook. So thank you very much, Ellen. I will leave the floor to you now. You can also put your presentation in full screen so that we can have a better look of that. So Ellen, the floor is yours.
So thank you for welcoming us. So can you see the presentation on the full screen? Welcome to Frankfurt, and let me say some few words about Compass. So Compass is a public entity, so we are 100% daughter of the city of Frankfurt, and we have 3 pillars. So we're supporting startups across genders, nationalities, professional background, and ages. And of course, we support small and medium enterprises. And then we are also running a lot of training projects all over the world to promote and entrepreneurship development. So we have very variety and what we are doing, but we always follow the so-called 4+1 model. That means we are taking in consideration from the very early stimulation phase, that means giving idea workshops, finding and identifying target potential and startup clusters, to, let's say, to stabilizing and growth. And our focus is actually on providing in each stage tools, seminars, workshop, advisors, everything we are doing. And in a short, that means with the 4+1 model, the service includes a comprehensive profiling of core competences, training, coaching, mentoring. We developed our own calculation tools for several branch sectors like hospitality, services, manufacturing, doing across country businesses. So Frankfurt is a very international city, and we are giving access to infrastructure. So we have more than 5,000 square meters. We have very good infrastructure and a very large network of stakeholders. We are also providing linkages between existing startups and potential entrepreneurs and investors. In Frankfurt, there is money, but the money doesn't not goes always to the migrant entrepreneurs. And we have a special coordination for young startups with the international origin. So therefore, we are very famous for inclusive entrepreneurship, for migrant entrepreneurship, and we are offering very affordable office facilities in our startup centers, because premises in Frankfurt, we are not London, but sometimes we have the impression the prices are incredibly high. We have very wide network from ministries, from banks, from different. So you see, Compass is actually what a Compass is doing. We're giving orientation. We are actually guiding through all the networks. And this is actually working like a public transportation system. So there are different stops and varieties. There are shortcuts, and sometimes you have to pass over some others, but it's very well working, and it's trustful, very trustful ecosystem we are having in Frankfurt. So we have trained more than 25,000 startups, and Frankfurt is a very international. We have more than 70% of Frankfurt founders are having a migrant background. This is enormous. And we also say that Frankfurt is like Compass is a public entity, and we're always saying that public business advisors or advisors who have selected by the public sector are the ideal enablers for stimulating and boosting inclusive entrepreneurship, because we are neutral. We are not allowed to do and make any business out of our founders. And we also take in consideration what kind of global challenges of entrepreneurs are focusing, like the globalization, like the new markets of the futures, the economy of networks, the economy of things, everything we are taking in consideration. And of course, what we are taking in consideration, the challenges for startups, like finding target groups, access to money, finding the right location, and we're also taking the personality, the personal challenge in consideration, like resilience, management yourself questions. Is anybody able, for example, to think strategic or to be independent? And then, of course, we are taking in consideration challenges of migrants or founders with the migrant background, because we are focusing a very diverse target group. We have the diaspora here in Frankfurt. You can imagine we have expatriates from all over the world. We have the first, the second, and the follow-up generations. We have refugees, we have various educational backgrounds, we have high potentials to illiterates, and we have various knowledge of languages. It's a lot we have to take in consideration. And we have been chosen 2016 of the European Commission for good practice, because we were actually able, with all our tools and taking in consideration the 4+1 model, that we give the migrant here in Frankfurt and in the region of Frankfurt a very high visibility, that there is a very good economy, and we have networking, we are doing legal and regulatory advices, of course, individual business support. we also take in consideration a lot of team trainings, of group trainings. We have mentors, and we follow always the principle of a cross-gender mentor, and it's working. Cross intercultural and cross gender mentoring, it's very successful. And we are also giving access to finance. Frankfurt is the only city in Germany who created an own fund for startups, and of course also for migrants. It's up to 50,000 euro. It's a lot. And even the land of Hesse, the state of Hesse, we are providing a microloan up to 25,000 euro without any guarantees. You don't need any securities. It has just to be approved by Compass. And of course, we are taking language and cultural sensitivity in our training and consulting. And of course, we are measuring the impact. This is very important. More than 80% our founders are still on the market after 5 years. And normally in Germany, only 50% of all founders are surviving the first 5 years. And we are also providing tools for refugees, because Frankfurt has more than 7,500 refugees, and we only have 700,000 inhabitants. So there is a big challenges going on in Frankfurt, and we are providing for them tools, and we are providing for them, and this is very unique, an integrated program, because they have a lack of language skills. That's why we have very international team. They have a lack of market knowledge and local knowledge about the local and national market. Of course, Germany is famous for bureaucratic, so we take all these challenges into consideration, and also we take the personal stress, the family, the mental, and the refugees in consideration. And often they have no workplace, or they are not very well equipped. Some of them can't having a laptop or computers or whatever, or fax machine. And they normally refugees in Germany has no access to credit. So that is why we said we are offering services like, and also we are working with other institutions, working with the refugees. We are going into camps and providing into camps on a very low entry level idea workshops, and they are gorgeous. And there we point out how it is important to learn German in a very early stage, but also we said even you can't speak German, you can start a company here in Frankfurt very easily, because we have so many examples where people run businesses without speaking a single word German. But we help them to find people like a staff member who maybe can work in their startups. And we have this gorgeous Frankfurter Guarantee Fund and microloan, I already told you. And I like to point out in the last minutes a very great new work we do with the Center for Development of Germany. We call it Take Off with Cross-Border Business Ideas, where we're offering workshops for migrants going back to their country of origin and starting companies. Because we always think that we have that entrepreneurs and with the migrant backgrounds really can help countries of their origin to grow, because we take in consideration the relationship between migrants here in Germany, remittances, and the diaspora. And we created many seminars for international startups doing business across the world. And there, for example, we are taking in consideration what are the challenges in the countries, like going back to Cameroon and creating a new application for mobile money. So how high is the risk? How we can explore the market there? Where are the barriers? And which context they need to contact? And of course, we are a public entity linked in the Department of the Business Development of Frankfurt. We have really worldwide connections to others, departments of countries and ministries. And this makes actually going back to your country of origin so successful. And this is actually our motto. And this is a milestone for our sustainable startup support for exclusive entrepreneurship is, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's Compass.
Thank you very much, Ellen, for this presentation and sharing with us the German experience. We move now to Sweden. We have the Nyföretagar Centrum, and both Tara and Harry are there. I invite you, Tara, to also share your webcam and to also turn your microphone on. And I will give very shortly the word to you. I can see your screen, I can see your webcam, and you are on the microphone. So I leave the floor to you, and thank you again for being here.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening in. And for us giving the possibility to join. Nyföretagar Centrum has existed since 1985. We are in Sweden the organization that is the one that helps people to start up in Sweden. Every 10th company in Sweden is started up by the system of Nyföretagar Centrum. It started off 1985 by the business communities and some of the companies like Volvo and others and banks, and also some good governmental institutions, but mainly companies related to the business sector and employees and also employers' organizations. So it's a foundation that started 85. The first year, the success was not that great. We started just 20 companies, but today, when we count everything since then, since 34 years, we have started up 231,000 new businesses. And when we are saying we are starting up companies, we really stress the importance that the companies we help and support are still working alive. And the bankruptcy rate we have always been following. So in our major system, we have a bankruptcy rate, and that has been the same since 85 for just 1%. After 3 years, 1%, and still active in business, 84%. And if we put on our mentor program, the survival rate is actually 87% in totally for all Swedes. It's not that successful when we go to migrants, but I come back to that. But still, it's very, very successful. Every year, we have about 16 to 20,000 people coming in to Nyföretagarcentrum, which are stations, enterprise agencies around the country. We have about over 200 stations, Nyföretagarcentrum, where you get free advice, counseling, helping to get a business plan.
Now it's fine. You can get back. Excuse me for the interruption.
Okay. We have fairs, campaigns, and then afterwards we'll link them over to the individual counseling. And after that, we filter them out to have a mentorship program. And that all together makes it more sustainable, because what you have afterwards is sustainable business for a long run. When we count what achievements are during the last years, there was a study made just now about tax revenues, and the period 16 to 18, we had tax revenues for the whole system for 3 years, getting back for all entrepreneurs we started, which was about 300 million euros. But when it comes to migrants, and that is the important thing, already after 3 years, tax revenues was significant. So there was about 25 million euros for the migrant sector in tax revenues. So even if it's costly for the Swedish government to take migrants and refugees, really after some years they also, when they are in starting companies, they also have income, and when they have income, they also pay taxes. So this is very, very, very positive, and with those good results, we carry on. Actually, there are migrants from many countries coming in. The biggest groups are today Syrians and Iraqians and Iranians, if you count them. But actually, we have about 85 countries coming in with our support system. They're helping up and opening doors. And the survival rate is still 1% in bankruptcy. Still active, it's not as good as the Swedish group. 69% are still there after year 3, but this is the average as well for the normal Swedes when they start businesses. So if we have 69% still there active in business after year 3, this is what is going for the Swedish group as a whole. So we have some encouraging results, and we carry on. We focus very much on the migrants because it's needed. 2015, we had 160,000 people coming in, and that was quite a lot for Swedish conditions. And we try our best to handle the situation and help so many as possible.
And then how do you want to go through the principle? So Nyföretagarcentrum has a very individualized approach, and it's based on the need of every single individual. So first, it is just the information, what it is to start a business, how do you run a business, and then people come in, they get individual counseling and coaching, and then the next steps are based on that. So that first meeting, it is an assessment of, you know, how integrated are you into the Swedish system? Are you born and raised here, or a native Swede, or are you new? And then it goes on to what type of services do you need in order to have a sustainable business. And some people, they just need help understanding the system and filling out creating a business plan. And some, they will go to business training and classes. the advisor will help them with understanding the Swedish culture, with understanding the Swedish market. And then with the adaptations, we see that people that are new to Sweden needs twice as much time as somebody born in Sweden, and so the advisors give that to them. And the services are also adjusted, whereas a person born here can go to the bank and will have no problems, whereas perhaps a new person, the advisor will go to the bank with them and help them walk through that process, or they will make a phone call to the registration office to see how the application is pursuing. So it's really based on whatever that individual needs. And then access to finance. That was also a very difficult situation in Sweden. The Swedish banks takes the know your customer law very seriously. And so if you were new here and you did not have a network and the bank did not know you, you did not get a personal account, bank account, let alone a business bank account. And so Harry has worked with one of the banks here and secured a microloan system. So a person that goes through the process, gets registered, has a good business plan, the Nyföretagarcentrum will help them forward their business plan and their loan application to this particular bank for consideration for microloan crediting. And that is something that's was developed specifically for the newcomers to Sweden. As it comes to how our advisors, I mean, all of our advisors already have their own businesses. They know the system. They are well integrated into their particular community. They have their own networks. But then we've been working with them on awareness raising of what it is to be a newcomer, and then intercultural communication and competencies. With 85 people coming in, we can't train on like a specific culture or specific tendencies. So the training is more of understanding yourself, understanding what it means to be a Swede, so you cannot place those same assumptions on a new person. And then communication and internal motivation and communication. So how do you communicate well with others, and how do you understand what their needs, particular needs are? Also, Nyföretagarcentrum has a very unique network system. So what you can see on the slide is that there are 2,000 companies in our network and about 5,000 individuals. Each local office has their own network of people dedicated to making the Nyföretagarcentrum work. And one of the things within that network is, okay, let's say somebody comes in and they need help with accounting. Okay, so I will call my friend, the accountant, I will call somebody in my network, and they're going to help you and they're going to teach you how to do it. And maybe the third or fourth time, it's going to be pro bono. They're going to support you that way. And then if you choose to go back to them, then it's a business transaction. So they have the community working in, and the idea is to create a system where people can stand on their own feet. That is very much the Swedish way. We don't give people fish, we teach them how. And there is an underlying assumption that that's what everybody will do. Is there anything else you want to add, Harry, to that?
Well, it has a significant importance also for job creation. We know that in Sweden, 4 or 5 jobs are created by smaller companies. And when it comes to migrants, we can see also that those people that we have starting businesses have more people employed than the average Swede. So this is also a significant factor for us for employment.
Right. And if you have any questions or want more information, feel free to let us know.
Thank you very much, both to you, Harry and Tara, for sharing this. Very good that you also put your contact details there. So I also invite all attendees later on watching this webinar to potentially also directly address yourself. I would like to apologize for the short, I suppose, couple of seconds interaction that I think was due to some internet cuts at the moment, but everything was then set. So thank you very much once again for your intervention. I will now give the floor to Portugal. We have there Barbara Duque, who represents the High Commission for Migration from Lisbon. So hello to you, Barbara. I can perfectly see you. I can able to share your screen, and I can also hear you. So I leave now the floor to you. You can already put your presentation on. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
So first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I've been learning a lot, and I hope not to decrease the expectations and the things we have been learning until now. So my name is Barbara, and I work in the High Commission for Migrations here in Portugal, in the Migrant Entrepreneur Support Office. Who we are? The High Commission for Migration is the public institute responsible to design, implement, and evaluate all the public measures to integrate migrants in Portugal. We don't work alone, of course. We work with all ministries that are involved in all dimensions of the integration of a migrant in a country. So we work with education ministry, health, employment, and other institutions that have a role in the integration of migrants in Portugal. We have the one-stop shops, the national centers to integrate migrants that maybe some of you have heard, and it's like a shop where these kind of services are all integrated. And I work in a small piece of the integration of a person in a country. I work in this Migrant Entrepreneur Support Office, and we manage a lot of initiatives to support the migrants who want to open a business in Portugal. Our main activities are mainly focused in building training, in networking, in technical support, in advising, and so on. And as I can hear this morning, most of the good experience that we heard are also focused on these, because we all know the data shows that people need this support, this training support, so that they can give steps more securely in their dream of creating a business in a different country. So this is the kind of initiatives that we have, and I'm going to briefly explain some of them more detailed. Our training course, this is a project that this year it's celebrating the 10th anniversary, and we are already recognized as a good practice, not only by the European Commission but also by the United Nations. We are referring in different handbooks, of course, in this one too, and the main goal is to support migrants in the development of a business idea. The training course is composed by collective sessions that occur once a week during 10 weeks, so 10 sessions, and articulate these collective sessions with individual meetings where entrepreneurs can discuss their own issues with a trainer. And of course, technical support after and during the course, individual meetings with the trainer so that they continue to working together. These photos are from real entrepreneurs. For example, this was from an event with women, with entrepreneur women, migrant entrepreneur women. So they all created or wanted to create a business in Portugal. But I will explain the event with more detail. We have one of the materials we use. It is this dossier, this entrepreneur dossier, which is organized in 10 dimensions. What it is to create a business in anywhere. So it starts with what it is a business. what kind of location, what it is the price, how can I define the price, who are my opponents or my partners, how can I work on communication, who are my clients, where they are, my costs, sales and results, and so on. So we will do a path with the trainees in the course where they can discuss each dimension of a business plan, of creating a business, and they will reflect together in the collective sessions in these dimensions. But they are not discussing only theoretical, they will discuss upon their own business. There are different people that come into our trainings, people that already had entrepreneur experience in their home countries, people that already had a business, or people that doesn't have any kind of experience, or persons that already started the business but they want to reflect on it, or people that are still dreaming and they have baby ideas. And any kind of people are free to come and are invited to come and to reflect together on the business or on the dream or on the idea. This material will allow each participant to work between the sessions. We invite them to reflect, write, to draft, so that in the end they can have their own material to starting to draft their business plan. And all over the sessions, mostly the collective ones, we discuss this kind of items I have here in my PowerPoint. So the risk analysis, how can I reach other institutions to that can support my business creation, and so on. So we work on real cases. We work on developing not only entrepreneurship skills, but also the personal skills. We say, when people knock on our door, we say, we believe you, we believe in your idea. Let's reflect on the idea together and see if we can transform your idea in a positive thing to you, in a business, in something that can create jobs and improve your economic conditions and so on. Or not, or in the end people can discover that, no, I'm not ready for it, it's not my time now, or this idea, it's very, very good, but not here, just maybe 10 years from now. So let's put it in a very safe place, and then when my conditions change, maybe I can get back to the idea in another in a better context, in a better time. We have this methodology that we tested since 10 years from now. As I was saying, we develop a guide, unfortunately only in Portuguese, that we disseminate with other institutions, other local institutions. We have a great articulation with municipalities and NGOs that work on the field. So we developed this entrepreneurship guide so that the institutions can implement this kind of courses and this kind of projects in their own contexts. For example, in specific and vulnerable quarters, or in different municipalities around the country. Articulating with our main activity, this capacity building training session, we have these specialized services that so people scheduling can come here and have individual consultancy. The main doubts are to know how the business environment here in Portugal works, and of course what kind of public instruments and support instruments they have to start the business. And that's what we do. Well, our main job is to forward the migrants to the institutions that can support, give financial support or other kind of programs so that they can go ahead with the business. We also develop another different kind of entrepreneurial initiatives to complement the work we do in the training sessions. As I was saying, it's a very real process, so we invite people to test their ideas, test their products. So we develop pop-up stores here in a protected context where people can really test the way of communicate, the way of present the products and the service. For example, we had a specific group only with refugees, and we have a refugee women that wanted to have a business doing traditional Syrian cookies. And at the first day of the pop-up store, she only brought the cookies in small packages and put it on the table. In the next day, she brought a towel with a traditional fabric from Syria to put the package, and also she brought a basket to put the packages inside the basket. And in the third day, she also brought, she tagged the packages with a price and brought Syrian coffee to offer to the clients. So during their presence in the pop-up store, in the fair, in the protected context, she was able to experience the things she was learning in the training course and the reflections she has been doing with the colleagues and with the training. So that's the kind of personal development we work on with entrepreneurs. And of course, this articulation with other institutions, we not only forward the entrepreneurs to other institutions, we also invite institutions inside our context. So we have a lot of workshops about specific thematics where we invite the professionals that work on that field. For example, how to create a domestic kitchen, or about fundraising or microcredit, or so we have this good articulation with institutions, as I was saying, because we are a public institute, and we invite the institutions to share their expertise with our entrepreneurs. So we believe that the key factor for our success is that we combine the methodology of the training courses, the training models, with these other kind of entrepreneurial initiatives. We have this approach of start on the real process of business construction, center on the participant, needs and development, and we articulate that assumption with involving other institutions and other kind of tools that can be useful for the entrepreneur. So this is our numbers, the kind of training courses we develop. As you can see, not only with migrants, but also with we had some experience in 2015 and 16 with the international students. We also had, and we are going to have this year again, training courses specific for refugees. The same training course, but the materials are translated to Arab, and we have a simultaneous translation. and numbers for the technical support, the specialized service, the numbers for workshops and pop-up store. So as you can see, we have now more than 2,000 participants that were trained by our program. So I'm available to answer all your questions. And thank you very much once again. This is my contact.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Barbara, for this and for sharing the Portuguese experience. So I'm getting back the floor. I invite you, Barbara, to switch the microphone on. We have a few questions, and I'm afraid the time is very, very limited, so I'll be able to take only 2 of them and see whether we can answer, but I would suggest to take exclusively 1 minute, not more than that. One is for Tara and for Harry. So the question is, just 2 seconds that I take it. If you can explain a little bit more how your network is. Participant is asking more in details. Is it composed of organizations belonging to different sectors, field of expertise, and are migrant associations present as well in this network? Kindly, in 1 minute, if you can make it, and we can also share the contacts later on for additional questions.
We have always the authorities in, like the municipality. It's a strong part, and also the organizations. But mainly it is the business community and the banks. But we are about 2,000 companies supporting, and we have about 5,000 people in the network giving advice without any cost at all. Additionally to our counselors, which we have in our system, where they're at the enterprise agency stations, there are about 200. So we have about 200 people giving daily one-to-one advice. We have about 5,000 additional experts from the business community, small companies, bigger companies. And here you have all the kind of expertise you need, from financing to marketing to contracts. So you can have an answer in practically everything you need from the network.
And some of those municipalities, and because Sweden works a bit different, so the government, the municipalities provide like language training, and they provide some professional trainings. And so the system is different, whereas in another country that there'd be a migrant organization that would address those issues, but here it is primarily provided by the government.
So we'll link them over to after the counseling. If we don't have any question answered, we take them in to have this specific answer from one of our experts. That's our system.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for answering this. I have just one additional question here that I would like to address. It's not specifically just to any of the panelists, but I invite whoever feels would like to take the floor, Barbara, Ellen, Giacomo as well. How much we need targeted measures for migrant entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs, and how much should this be split from the, let's say, regular ones, so the mainstream programs that are provided. Anyone who'd like to answer to this very, very shortly in 1 minute, please? To probably Ellen, yes.
This is a very important question. So, because we always think this is providing workshop is very specific, and what we figured out that it's also very, very important really to take in consideration about the theme of integration and being exclusive, and therefore we need more. Frankfurt is a very open city, yeah, but we are always struggling by asking for financial financial issues to really gain a lot of money, because working with migrants, taking all the challenges in consideration, is also expensive, yeah. There we need actually more solutions on the political level and on the European level.
Thank you very much, Ellen, and thank you to all of those who participated in this webinar. We extended a little bit the timing. I hope it was useful for all of you and a way to further learn of what are the different experiences and programs across Europe. As I said at the very beginning of the webinar, this will be made available on the MEGA website, so www.migrantentrepreneurship.eu. We are now done with this webinar, but invite you to also join the national webinars in September, from September to November this year. So thank you very much once again to our panelists for taking the time to be with us, and to all attendees. And we'll see you most likely in the next webinar. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you for
Thank you.
organizing.